Game on, everybody, and welcome to another Market Watch video. In this video, we'll be discussing the month-long period of the Gundam TCG and see how it's holding up. But before we get started, a quick plug. Just thank you so very much for the people who are subscribing, leaving likes and comments on my video. I greatly appreciate it and it really helps. But let's go ahead and move forward into the Market Watch. So today, I wanted to take a look at the market in the sense of the past 30 days because this game is now officially over the 30-day mark. And for this one as well, we're going to go ahead and exclude EX bases. We're not going to include promo cards, and we're going to also exclude beta cards. I will include starter deck cards for the time being, but what we can see here is actually the easiest way to really kind of recap of what's going on is the market heat within my website, and you guys can use this as well at magicalmeta.inc/Gundam. And overall, a lot of the cards that are over that $20 mark are, I think there's really only just one card, which is the Kshatria from the booster box from New Type Rising, that is over that mark, and everything else is under that, which is really honestly great. And then you can see the alt arts of justifiably they are at the top, and we can definitely also notice that the meta is as well shifted to just everybody wants to bling out their deck, and these cards are essentially either holding their value or going up. Some have changed, but in comparison to when these cards were first released, because that's what we need to basically look at, is what is their current price based off of when they were initially released. And if you guys ever just want to go ahead and glance through the through it yourself, you can see exactly and dig into view more details and even purchase the, it'll redirect you to TCG Player if you click the buy button. But anyways, yeah, everything's looking really good in the sense of just affordability. I can even just quickly show you this, is that if I hide the alt arts, there's only one card, which is the Kshatria that I just mentioned, that is above that $20 mark, and then everything else is relatively, affordable in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and re-add that back. And what we also see is that the base rarity of an LR is about $9. That's including starter decks. So if we hide the starter deck cards, we can see that it's more close to $11. So what can we learn from this? Essentially, my takeaway is that if I can see a really meta viable LR that I need for a deck and it's 20 bucks, sure, I'll pay it if I really want to finish the deck and bling it out, or just get the deck together, be first to build if I need it for a regional, whatever, right? The highest peak that we saw was the Freedom Gundam at $50, but we can see now that it's really low. It's actually our top decliner within the mid-range value here, at losing 66% of its value. So very interesting information there. And what I can also have here is if we go into the base rarity, and these are excluding the starter deck cards, everything's down, which is great in the comparison of like when we had the starter deck price, or the release prices for the booster box. Everything was like priced out at about 20 bucks. It was really hard to kind of just figure out what is what's going to see meta viability. But if you were waiting, and there's been people posting online on Reddit that they've been getting the booster packs as well, like the blister packs available. So there's definitely more product available, which is great news. And if this is like, and then like the Kshatria, I think at one point was actually only being sold for 10 bucks. So that's why it's selling for like $20. But to play a meta viable deck, and for the LR, which is the most top end expensive part of it, for 20 bucks, that's why I said my threshold for an LR would be no more than 20 bucks, unless I really need it for the deck. Nobody needs it, right? But then what else can we learn down here? If a card is, so if the average price of an LR is about $11, and we see these LRs that are really cheap, it's like, why not just pick them up? And again, if you guys are interested in picking up these cards, please consider using my TCG Player affiliate link in the description box below, or just by clicking the buy button on my website. It'll use me as the referrer. So if you guys are interested in picking up some cards and you were waiting, maybe now is probably the best time. We're at 30 days in for this Gundam game. If you're trying to finish out your play sets, this would also be the ideal time to do it. And I think everything's pretty much stabilized. It could potentially go down. The starter deck cards are up just because the scarcity of that is, but we have new starter decks coming out, which will eventually maybe even rotate the meta and making even more cards available. And for the top sellers over the past 30 days, to nobody's surprise, we of course have the top three here of Overflowing Affection. We can see in the past 30 days over 5,000 were sold. In second place was Gundam Lifrith, 4,400 sold, and a Show of Resolve at 4,200, because every deck that's playing white for sure needs Overflowing Affection, and there seems to be a big chunk of the meta pie that is primarily the white strategy with the blockers and whatnot. And then from here too, we see Char's Zaku, a fan favorite deck, only selling for 30 bucks. And I think that's really great, because if we go up to any of our rares as well, the average rare is about 84 cents. So Charged Aku should be a rare. Am I? Yeah, okay, I was about to say. But we can see that everything's really decently priced out, I think. My price barrier would be, if I really need the rare, it'd be like the $5 range at the absolute most. And then like if it's like $1, it's like pretty expected in my opinion. Like nothing's too crazy. If we're seeing like Marita Cruz back up to $10, it's like, whoa, let's slow down there, right? But I mean, that's kind of just seems to be where it's at. We've seen Marita Cruz at a much higher price point. And yeah, just overall, just kind of giving you guys some insight as to where I think my price barriers of like where to buy it. We can see also the LR pluses selling for about on average $500. So that's kind of where it depends on what the card is. We had some weird issues with the Gundam, the original GD01001 Grandpa Gundam. Have that really high price, and then weirdly on TCG Player they had the whole price issue, but that's where the market value is kind of lining there. And then with the aerial rebuild, I'm also very confused about this because we technically have a higher rarity and there's multiple different arts for it. But I guess if you really like this artwork, but you guys can kind of figure out that's where the LR might be priced out somewhere within that range, depending on the popularity of the card. But so far it seems like they're really kind of picking bangers, and I'm looking forward to just seeing the more support with those kinds of cards as well. Maybe they'll even hold up in value, but that's kind of where we're at. And the average price for an LR alt rare is about $42. So really you kind of just figure out where it's there. Like this Gundam Unicorn, right? Banshee mode, like you play that as like a 2 of Justice Gundam. I mean, that's also a pretty tempting price point for me. But you could either spend 20 bucks on the Kshatria, or you could spend the $60. If you can fork over a little bit more, you can get the higher rarity. But it really also just depends if you're like a max rarity kind of person, blinging it out. But there's also people who really like the low rarity cards. But yeah. And what else did I want to talk about? Marita Cruz, of course, the most expensive rare. We already talked about that. No surprise here. But this is at a glance of what the top 20 cards over the past 30 days were sold based on volume and what their market prices are. And also for the set Explorer, we can go over to new type Rising, and then it kind of basically shows you that price. From 30 days, it's been an increase of 25% of value overall. So if you guys were having those boxes sealed, or if you think you guys are tempted to open up those boxes, I don't know. I'm not really a sealed collector. I like to have like the starter decks. That's kind of my go. Or maybe have one for if I'm really enjoying the game, I'll just like have it as like a trophy piece for myself. But I never try to really hoard and collect too many boxes myself. I just think cards are meant to be played with. But highlights, the most expensive cards, here's the top 5. No surprise really right there. The top climbers, these are just the ones that have been seeing the most change in the past 30 days of where they kind of went from initially to now. And then the most traded, the most sold. For whatever reason, I guess people are really eating up those basic resources from this set. And yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a quick update on the market. It is 30 days into Gundam, and I think this game is doing really well, and I'm looking forward to the future to see where this all goes. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the Gundam card game, what you guys are maybe expecting in future sets, what you guys like about the game, what you guys dislike about the game. Leave me a comment. I try my best to always respond. Again, thank you to all my new subscribers. Leaving a like and comment also on this video really does help boost it and really support the channel. And thank you again to my Patreon subscribers as well, and I am just really so very grateful. The patrons really do help keep my website up and running. So if you guys are interested in the longevity of this website, in the Gundam card game, let me know. And also, any way you guys can support me, I really do greatly appreciate it. But just ultimately, use my site. I love using it, and I love to have other people give me some feedback as well on how I can improve it. I do have my new deck builder, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, you guys can go ahead and try it out. I worked really, really hard on it. And coming soon, I will be showcasing you guys my aerial rebuild. I already posted on my Twitter, so if you guys want to see it out, go ahead and check out my Twitter. And then also with the exportability, oh well, let me just add a card real quick. With the exportability, there is a way to export into the Gundam simulator. So I'll be showcasing you guys a video later this week or maybe next week on how to basically play the Gundam simulator with PvP, not through like Wingtable where you're playing against a bot, you're playing against an actual person. But more to info to come. Subscribe to the video for that, and thank you again for your guys' support. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out of here.